So this is from Overstock to Optimisation, and welcome everybody. So I really thank you for joining today's session. I'm really excited to share the strategies that have transformed your maybe supply management practices into a potential competitive advantage. So we're going to deep dive into it. We're going to talk a little bit about how you can implement merchandise planning for supply chain efficiency. So what's on the agenda? So we're going to deep dive into understanding the Overstock challenge. We're going to look at the impact of Overstock on profitability and sustainability, as well as the opportunities for optimization. We're going to look at the solution framework, which is a proven four-step approach to streamline supply management. And then predictive analytics in action. It's not as scary as it sounds, but we can understand very briefly how AI and data are reshaping inventory management. We could even look at a couple of future steps at the next trends, which are embracing innovation for the long-term goals. But before I go on, I have to do the obligatory, bragging of myself. So a little bit about me. My name is Jennifer von Walderdorff. I am an author, founder, and consultant with an absolute passion for sustainable fashion, as cheesy as it sounds. Yep, I got one laughing. So I do work as a freelance consultant independently through Jennifer Walderdorff Limited, but I also can be found on these amazing other platforms. I'd just like to introduce them very briefly. Sustainable Pathways. This is a platform connecting businesses with sustainability experts to drive eco-conscious strategies and align operations with their ESG goals. So they're doing amazing things and really specialize in this area. I can also be found on Canvas 8, a behavioral insights platform offering data-driven expertise on consumer trends, cultural shifts, and market strategies to help businesses innovate and adapt. And then there's Enterprise Nation, and this is a support hub for entrepreneurs and small businesses, really crucial for them, providing access to expert advice, tools, and resources to fuel their growth and success. Now, I have almost 20 years of experience in fashion retail, and I started in merchandise planning, which is the basis of this presentation. But I did see the benefits of expanding this knowledge into predictive analytics, finance, and also personal styling. And I've used this lateral understanding of the retail industry to write this customer-facing book, which I've called Look at the Labels. And it is a smart shopping guide to enable customers to get sharp, style right, and buy smart. It's written on the book. So this developed the online style consultation platform of the same name, helping people to gain their confidence, understand their bodies, and buy what they need. Through all of this,
Okay.
I'm a massive, sorry?
No, it's okay. Go ahead, sir.
I'm also a massive sustainable fashion advocate, which I do through Sustainable Fashion Week in the UK. And I'm the ambassador for Deutsche Kleiderstiftung, which means the German Clothing Foundation in Germany. So that's a little bit about me. Now,
Okay.
if you take a look at this image, I'm pretty sure most people have seen this to look familiar during sale period. Rails and rails of half-destroyed clothing hanging from the hangers in absolute disarray, whether it's during sale or always a corner in the side of a store all year round. But this is the epitome of overstock. The clothes that did not reach their estimated sell-through or were returned too close to the end of the season. But here they are, available to be sold at a discounted price. And that discount will increase the closer the brand gets to the start of the new collection, which will need more floor and storage space. And so the higher the discount, the higher the need to shift that stock. But before I go into this, a small PSA. Because this is going to come around maybe post Black Friday, it's still, evergreen information. There are many brands that do inflate their retail prices in advance of Black Friday. So for example, if a brand or partner retailer has an average profit margin of 50%, the stock that they may produce for Black Friday may be put out at a retail price of 75% profit margin. So the reduction that they finally put out for the customers is still getting back to something close to what their average discount would be. And there are many reasons for this. It's to reduce risk, it's to produce more quantities, it's to increase consumerism and capitalism, and all of these things. So as much as businesses say they will lose out if they don't contribute to Black Friday, please be aware, if you have a favorite brand or favorite products, to keep an eye on how that retail price shifts throughout the season to try and make a more informed choice if you're making a purchase. So that was for the customers. I'm always thinking of the customers. But if I go back to look at the businesses, it's staggering. Businesses are still losing over $1 trillion globally because of inventory mismanagement. And so Overstock, as terrible as it looks, is also terrible because it ties up capital that could be reinvested into the business. It inflates storage costs and contributes to significant waste, both financially and, as we know, the sustainability game, environmentally. But there is hope for businesses. So optimization has an effect, not only on revenue, but also on the obligation that the company may have to the environment. So with the right tools and insights, you can, as a business, reduce your costs by around 30%, and this is on average. You can also improve your cash flow and even align with any ESG goals and targets for a stronger brand image. So for example, one of my clients was a small to medium-sized brand. They were able to cut their overstocks by 25%, and that led to an approximate 10% boost in their full price sales. So having savings on both costs and gains on the top line is for sure where every company wants to get to. But every company is different, and this is just one of the best case examples that I can give. So the point is, by optimizing supply chains, businesses can reduce the production of what could have been unsold goods, specifically minimizing that landfill contribution and conserving vital resources. Because I've worked in the fashion industry for so long, it's still staggering some of the statistics that are still ever present. The fashion industry alone produces 92 million tons of textile waste annually, and it accounts for 10% of the global carbon emissions. So you can quite clearly imagine that reducing the overproduction can significantly lower these emissions and align companies with their carbon reduction targets. And I do like this little stat that I'll just pull out at the bottom there, that the circular economy strategies, like inventory management, as old school as it is, they could cut emissions from key sectors like textile by 50%. A lot of companies have goals by 2030, 2040, etc. But if we're really thinking about how we as people within Europe, or companies within Europe, can start making an impact, some of the simple strategies are the best, and that's inventory planning. So what is merchandise planning? It's something which is fairly common, but you can still find newer businesses which aren't fully aware of it. The word merchandise planning is sometimes confused with visual merchandising, and they think it's more aesthetics over science. But in a nutshell, it is a systemic approach to forecasting, managing, and allocating products to meet both customer demand and the companies effectively. So it ensures the right product is at the right place, at the right time, in the right quantities, and at the right price. And although this seems impossible, I've been doing it for enough years and at a great level to know that it is possible to get a good degree of accuracy to achieve sell-throughs that are planned for the partner. Now, the goal is to balance supply with customer demand while optimizing that profitability and reducing waste. Through all of this, there is known to be an improvement in the customer satisfaction. Now, it generally works in three ways. There's the pre-season planning, where the business use data-driven approaches to plan collections or inventory for the upcoming seasons. There are additional factors that play a part. As we have seen, quite irrational weather in the peak seasons, you have to incorporate things like weather. Also, outside trends or pop culture, as well as promotions, all of this can go in to create a robust plan. When you're in the season, we refer to this as in-season management. So you're monitoring real-time sales, would allow the companies to pivot quickly, replenish fast-moving items, or even discount slow sellers to kind of get back to where they wanted to be in their plan. And then there's the post-season review, which doesn't really ever end, even though it's called post-season. And this is data from the season, which is analyzed to refine future planning. It also identifies missed opportunities and reduces the inefficiencies. Now, here on the slide, I've pulled out the core components. So these are demand forecasting. This is often put into marketing departments to understand demand and therefore plan their advertising accordingly. But there is the element of demand forecasting, which can be used for merchandise planning to really understand how many units are needed and where, as from the above. The inventory management. Where is all of your stock? So that's everything that's due to come in, everything that's going out, including the returns, and how much stock can you ever sit on at one period of time. Product allocation. So this distributes stock for wherever it has to go, based on the demands, the shipping costs, the travel rates, etc. Then you have financial planning. So this will align all of your inventory decisions with your profitability goals. So there are some real big benefits to merchandise planning, which I'd just like to rave about. So I've spoken about it of reducing the waste by avoiding overproduction. So we've seen some of the horrific images of landfills. That's where a lot of waste product goes. So efficient inventory management can help reduce that. But how do you enhance the customer satisfaction from when I mentioned it earlier? So by ensuring products are available when the customer needs it, and for sure improve their satisfaction. You can also improve profitability by minimizing what we refer to as the cost markdown, how much stock goes into markdown and is then sold at a lower margin from where you planned it at full price. And lastly, of course, supporting your sustainability goals. And this will be through better or more robust resource management. Now, the data-driven decision-making. I like this title because it had a lot of Ds and alliteration is quite snazzy. But how does predictive analytics work in merchandise planning is the question. Well, predictive analytics is the use of data, statistical algorithms, and machine learning techniques to identify the likelihood of future outcomes based on historical data. So when it's incorporated into merchandise planning, it can really be a game changer because it enables businesses to make informed decisions, reduce their risks, and improve their operational efficiency. Especially for small businesses, even harnessing the power of an intuitive spreadsheet is effective enough to reap the benefits of merch planning using predictive analytics. But of course, there are tools and technologies available which are really changing the game. So I'll mention a few, although I don't endorse any of one of them specifically, but it's good to give actionable input here. So tools like SAP, Integrated Business Planning, Blue Yonder, and SAS Analytics enable businesses to harness predictive analytics effectively. If you're integrating it with AI, further enhances the ability to make fast data-driven solutions. So if you speak very briefly about Blue Yonder, so this is actually using AI in their supply chain management. They offer predictive analytics for demand forecasting and their inventory optimization. And they're really cool because they have real-time supply chain visibility. With SAP, IBP, Integrated Business Planning, this combines machine learning with advanced analytics. It's all under one unified platform, which is great. So you can have your optimized demand forecasting, your supply management, supply planning, and inventory management. So the future trends in AI supply management include predictive demand sensing. So this is where you use real-time data again, but you're really outsourcing where you get the information from. And as we know, a big part that plays impact on trends is social media. I would say an even bigger part is the weather forecast, although sweater weather doesn't always mean sweater weather anymore. We just find different ways to dress up for the cold weather. There's also consumer behavior. And these will help then predict short-term demand surges. So they will actually help you to predict the short-term demand surges or declines with a lot more accuracy. So you could say that predictive analytics, it helps merchandise planning to be more proactive rather than reactive. But one alone cannot do the plethora of things that we have just discussed. So how can a business gain clarity on implementing measures to manage their inventory? So this is the 4-step framework that I use. So this encourages every part of the supply chain to work smarter, not necessarily harder. So from my merchandise planning perspective, it's cyclical. All steps feed into the next, and it will continue to go around. So if I go through the breakdown, in the assessment stage, we dig deep into the demand patterns and the inventory life cycles. When looking at the forecasting, we use the analytics on top of social and economic factors to help predict the trends for the specific categories. When we look in streamlining, here we enable efficient supplier relationships and restocking methods. And again, sustainability. Let's not think about the excess stock, if it does happen or that we start with, as waste. It is an opportunity for reselling, rehoming, or even upcycling. And I'd like to just pause on that for a moment again and just talk about the reselling industry. The reselling Overstock, it does play a critical role in reducing waste by giving unsold inventory a second chance at life. And this could be through discount retailers, online platforms, or donation initiatives. But when you partner with a reseller, you really need to do your due diligence, because you need to ensure that their waste management practices align with your sustainability strategy. So my word of warning here is just to be cautious of partners who might dispose of unsold goods irresponsibly or ship items to markets where they may contribute to landfill issues. So do try to prioritize collaborations with organizations that have transparent processes for their recycling, repurposing, or responsibly distributing excess stock to minimize environmental impacts. So how will I deliver the results? Well, over the past almost 20 years, having a deep knowledge of merchandise planning, analytics, and finance, as well as styling, I provide a breadth of information that I can pass into businesses. There are unique supply chain challenges that are faced by retail and fashion industries, such as the ever-growing return rates, on average in Europe, almost close to 60%. The seasonal demand shifts, whether that's fashion, weather, etc. Sourcing issues. Which suppliers are reliable and how are they sourcing even the fabrics that you're using or raw materials? And then, of course, those overstock risks. When referring to the tech integration, I am a fan of automated workflows and streamlining operations, but I'm also one that can keep it simple. And as I said before, a spreadsheet that had everything that was automated for you could also do as good a job if it's the size of your company that you need to really get a grasp on the inventory and wherever it is. And of course, sustainability. Meeting the ESG targets by reducing waste and carbon emissions is possible while improving profitability. And again, that's through working smarter and pulling in some of those sustainability practices. So with all of that being said, I do hope today's session has inspired you to rethink how you approach supply management. And if any of this has resonated with you, feel free to schedule a free consultation with me to identify your specific challenges so you can create your own roadmap to success. There are different requirements, whether you want to reduce costs, increase profitability, or align with your sustainability strategy. I'm definitely here to help. So with that being said, I thank you all, and I look forward to working with you all. Take care.